There is a real sense of history here, as Unisa is commemorating 70 years since 20,000 women marched at the Union buildings. I'm here with Professor and Principal of Unisa, Professor Pulen Lenkabula. Thank you for having us here. So, Prof, tell us, it's been 70 years. What is the importance of having this kind of gathering?
Thank you very much to all the viewers of SABC. We're truly gratified today to celebrate 70 years of Women's March. In 1956, women marched against apartheid, claiming freedom, dignity, justice, but also the voice of women and agency in imagining the future of the country. I'm also appreciative that, as we know, in our country, we often celebrate the Women's Day on the 9th of August. We did that. However, as a university, we looked into what are the narratives about the 1956 women? What is it that anchored them to fight for justice in a period where their lives were threatened by apartheid and where violence or apartheid violence would have silenced them, muted them? What would be the anchor philosophies or theologies that would have made them to have the courage, the spirit to stand against a very violent, oppressive regime and to really reassert the place of women under the sun? And for us as the university, we have thought it is important for us to bring women's mañano from different churches, young women from different student structures, women from different political party systems, women intellectuals, to engage in a reflexive arena, to pay tribute and to express gratitude to the courageous women whose baton or leadership has enabled us to enjoy the freedom and democracy that South Africa celebrates celebrates today.
Speaking of which, as you've mentioned, today's theme is passing on the baton. What is the importance of doing that from the older generation into the new generation?
The 1976 generation was grappling with colonialism, with apartheid, with injustice, and with the lack of dignity or racism, sexism, and many systems of exclusion. In this context, there is a democracy. However, in our democracy, there are also grand challenges and questions that society is grappling with. High levels of poverty, high levels of unemployment, majority of women wrestling with gender-based violence and femicide in our society, sometimes institutions demonstrating that they're not functioning on behalf or in service of society. And we suggest that today's event is to sensitize youth and young adults, young women, women intellectuals, women in the academy, students, to understand and to draw the lessons of the 1956 march, but also the predecessors. So Helen Joseph, Mayor Josie Palmer, who was representing the union, Mayor Sophia De Bruyn, who is a living legacy, an iconic person that still holds the memory of this Women's March, and many others. We would like them to share some nuggets of wisdom, to encourage youth and young adults, the women, students, to take hold and take charge of the narratives of the present, to agitate for justice, to agitate for education as a transformative lever for our society, to be actively engaged in the efforts for socio-economic transformation, for eradicating poverty in our society, but for ensuring that knowledge, because universities are about knowledge. Knowledge is optimized to cradle, but also to transform our society, especially in the context of geopolitical tensions that we are seeing in the global arena, in the context of climatic changes and environmental degradation, in the context of gender-based violence, or even the ensuing somewhat similar to apartheid systems in other countries. So women must claim their voice. It cannot be handed over. The university therefore says we are a partner to social justice, to the efforts that bring unity, that bring cohesion, that enable education to transforming society, but also that says women's voice must be projected. Women's agency is an important asset for our society, and prayer, reflections, meditations, history become anchor points for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor, for answering the questions, signifying the importance of passing the baton from the older generation of women to the younger generation. Back to you in studio.